Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're looking through McFarlane, DC Multiverse, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Black White Accent, Superman. This is a gold label McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, so let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, part of the gold label collection, a gold label figure is simply a retail exclusive, whether it be Target or Walmart. This one's a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. DC, Superman logo, Superman from The Dark Knight Returns, Black and White Edition. McFarlane Toy Store, limited to 5,300 pieces. Here's the front of the box. On the side, Superman, Dark Knight Returns. Other side's pretty blank. At the back, here he is posed up with the black white accent. This is a McFarlane Deluxe figure. Remove the outer sleeve and expose the figure. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. We have a display stand, a collector's card, display stand for the collector's card, and then a total of 4 interchangeable hands. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Superman from Batman The Dark Knight Returns. Not only that, but this is the black and white accent variant. This is a swole, big, buff, older Superman. Very stylized. This is a McFarlane figure from, I think year 2 of the McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. So let's take a closer look. Start with his face. He has a really ugly mug. Like I said, it's very stylized and it looks very true to the source material. These figures are very ugly, but that's how they're supposed to be. Exaggerated sort of hair flipped up to the side. The entire figure is done in black and white except for his Superman symbol on his chest. And it actually makes for a pretty cool visual effect. With the red and the yellow there. As we go further down, like I said, it's a big, buff, swole Superman. Single jointed elbows, double jointed knees, cape going to the side. The entire figure is pretty much different shades of gray, light gray, medium gray, darker gray, etc. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It's ugly, but ugly in the sense of it's exactly like the artwork from Batman The Dark Knight Returns. And I think they did a great job translating the comic into plastic form. That goes for all the figures from The Dark Knight Returns by McFarlane Toys. They all really captured the aesthetic very, very well. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. First of all, we have this large display stand. Looks pretty cool. The Superman logo is classic, painted well, and then it's pretty much a black rectangle. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Superman with a black-white accent coloring. Superman, black-white accent. On the back, we have a certificate of authenticity. This is number 1,974 out of 5,300. If you got this figure, drop me a line in the comments below. What number did you get? And it doesn't do much for me, but you have this little display stand that you can put the collector's card into if you want to display it next to your figure. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 4 of them. 2 left hands, and 2 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists, and with his next pair of hands, these are some semi-open hands. They look like they could be some grabbing, choking, or throwing hands. Now to check out the differences and similarities between the black and white accent Dark Knight Returns Superman and the original version. And they are 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation, different paint job, so let's take a look. So I do prefer the color version for obvious reasons. This one is sort of, I don't know, a collector's item, piece of art, whatever you want to call it. And, I mean, this guy here is for world building, flesh color, regular Superman outfit. This one here is just kind of a cool display piece. The biggest interesting sort of thing is that he has this risen, sculpted Superman logo, and it sticks pretty far out. It was like that in the original. It's just kind of interesting the way they would do that. Now, the ab area looks a little bit funky down here. It's almost like it's supposed to be more pushed in. It looks a little more normal like this, but then he's sort of hunched forward a little bit. I don't know. He is a big, buff, swole Superman, Dark Knight Returns style. This one is visually popping, especially because of Superman single, but this one here is in comic accurate colors, and this is the one you really want in your collection. There have now been 6 McFarlane DC Multiverse figures that utilize this base body. 5 of which are Superman, 1 of which is Bizarro. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, pretty tall, standing about 7.4 inches tall, which can translate to just under 19 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course it can rotate side to side. He looks up, pretty good amount, and down, not that much, but a little bit. He can tilt his head, at least the littlest bit from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got this butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest. Increase the range of motion and covering the gap that would be there. There is no bicep cut. Single jointed elbow, 90 degree bend, and you get the rotation lacking the bicep cut in the elbow there. His wrist can rotate, and it is hinged, although mine's not. There it goes. Ball joint his torso, rotates around, not too much, forward and back, also not very much. Another one is waist, rotate around quite a bit more, forward and back as well. Between the two, you get more range of motion out of the waist than the torso, and it just looks kind of funky. It really seems like it should be pushed down. It looks a lot better like that, but it doesn't really seem to fit or sit as natural that way. Legs complete to the splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is really good on him. Legs go forward, about that far, back not much. He's got double jointed knees. And then his ankle. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Here's a look at this black and white accent Superman in front of the American flag. Fighting for truth, justice, and the American way, blindly following the US government's orders. Here's Batman lighting up the bat signal, taunting Superman. Now let's switch to a different setting. Here's a city diorama set up, and Batman is confronting Superman. Batman gets right into his face. He's not going to stand down to Superman. The first thing Batman does, pulls out a sonic gun, shoots it towards Superman. Of course that has little effect on Superman. Batman then grabs the light pole behind him and sends the electric current straight to Superman. At this point, Superman's had enough. He comes out to Batman and rips his helmet off. Batman knows he can't beat Superman in a physical fight. He brings his boy Oliver Queen to get some revenge against Superman. Oliver Queen points that kryptonite arrow right towards Superman. This has been a long time coming for him. Superman, with his heightened reflexes, catches the kryptonite arrow. But it's not enough. It disperses kryptonite all over him. Batman then gets the upper hand, starts beating on Superman. He tells him, "I want you to remember, Clark, in all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. The time has come. You know it in your soul." And then Batman proceeds to have a heart attack, collapses, and Superman's looking over him with regret. Let's check them out. Next is some other action figures, starting off with some other Superman figures. Here's a look at this Superman next to the Action Comics 1000 and Hush Superman figures. A couple of McFarlane's earlier, most normal and traditional Superman figures. And here he is, next to the Page Puncher and digital Silver Age Superman figures. Then, with a few different McFarlane live-action Superman figures, Christopher Reeve, Henry Cavill, and David Cornsweet. Here's a look at all the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures they've released, well, at least until about 6 months ago. And then here are some of the newer, more recent Superman figures they've released. Here's a look at the entire McFarlane DC Multiverse black and white accent subline. There are a total of 9 figures so far, and I believe the next one to come out is a Batman Who Laughs. McFarlane also made a black and white accent Spawn in their Spawn line, and a Trinity black and white accent 3-pack in their Superpowers line. Here's McFarlane's entire Batman The Dark Knight Returns collection. Now, they've covered a lot of key characters, but there's still so much more they could do. I'm truly surprised they never gave us a 7-inch scale mutant leader. Here are some Dark Knight Returns Superman figures from different various companies, by McFarlane, DC Direct, Chaos Toys, Mattel, and Mafex. Now let's check them out. Next is some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Gold Label, Mr. Bones, and Obsidian. And here he is, with the gold-labeled Target exclusive Mr. Miracle and Sandman. Then, with some McFarlane paint variants, we have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Gold Hush Batman, the black and white accent Dark Knight Returns Superman, the Patina Wonder Woman, and the Frostbite Crystal Naughta Robin. And now, with some recent McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Dark Archer, Dark Stars, Metron, Kite Man, Mirror Master, and Deathstroke. I'm on the hunt for both the regular and Platinum versions of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Beast Boy. If anybody out there can point me in the right direction, has some info for me, or can possibly help me out, please drop me a line in the comments below. It is much appreciated. And here he is, next to most recent Batman Wave, Troika Batman, Kenner Homage Azrael, and Luke Fox Batwing. Then, with the 4th digital wave, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the No Man's Land Batman, Monarch, Disco Nightwing, and a Spoiler. And finally, next to the green and yellow rainbow Batman figures. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they are typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Superman figures as I can during these comparisons. Since we already checked him out, next to all the other McFarlane Superman figures, here he is with some more McFarlane toys. In front of you are 5 different action figures, all McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale, and now with some Jack-specific wrestling figures and Diamond Select toys. Here's Superman next to a can opener, and here he is with some DC Direct and NECA Superman figures. Then with some Mattel and Jazzworks wrestling figures, and now with some Mezco and Mattel Superman figures. Next with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends, and finally with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzworks Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a cool Superman figure. Now, I'm not nearly as excited for the black-white accent figures as I am the traditional colored figures, but this one is visually interesting. He does pop. The Superman symbol on his chest is what really sort of elevates him from a regular black-white accent figure, or black-white figure. He looks good, but it's just a lot more of the same. His accessories, kind of disappointing, really just the extra hands. His articulation, it's a little bit limited. He's a bigger character, McFarlane. I notice on the bigger characters like this, prefer to use single joints versus double joints, especially in the elbows. It's an older figure, a little bit dated, the larger ball joints in the wrists and the ankles. If I were to rate this guy, I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10. The only reason that it's that high is because it looks pretty cool, especially with that Superman symbol on the chest. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.